That Fraser Crane, what a card. Nothing quite like chilling for a week in November. But I can't help feel like I've forgotten something. Kevin! What could I bring? What could I bring? I mean, I've got less than 24 hours. Could bring a sauce. No, sauce wouldn't be classy. It's after Labor Day, so pasta salad would just be unfashionable. What could I bring? It's gotta be an appetizer. I think I got it. Yeah, that's perfect. Pita chips and hummus. Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another episode of Dmatiqitchen. We're less than 24 hours away from Thanksgiving, the day where we celebrate the star of Mazes and Monsters, Tom Hanks. Thank you, Tom. And just like Mazes and Monsters is a far-out game, it's only right that we make a far-out dish. Today, we're going to be making my family-famous hummus and homemade pita chips. Now, to do this, you're going to start with some chickpeas, or in my case, some store-bought hummus. So, yeah, kind of cheating. However, this hummus in particular is the closest thing that I've gotten to just straight up chickpeas, water, and salt, and it serves as a base for my own custom twist on the dish. Of course, along with that, I also have some olive oil with a paste that is their own business. And just to spice things up, I'm going to try using fresh garlic. Yeah, I've been known to use garlic in the past, but this time we're gonna get it a little bit fresh. As for the pita chips, I actually prefer to use Euro bread. These things come in a pack of 10, so you can make about 60 chips out of one single bag. Not bad. So come along with me on this journey where me make a dish that's been described as both edible and food. Now, if you were paying attention in the last video, I like to work smart and not hard. So we're going to start by preheating our oven. To 400 degrees. Now that we've got that ready, it's time for us to focus on our hummus. To start, we're going to go ahead and break apart our clove of garlic. Now you might be wondering, what's the best way to go about it? And from what I've heard, well, apparently smashing it was supposed to work. All right, there we go. We're just gonna, oh, that one went flying. We're just gonna tear right into this thing. Okay, now that most of the extra skins have been taken care of, I did discover that we had 3 that were pretty much already peeled. Excellent. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest. Now, apparently there are many tricks that folks have talked about using, such as microwaving just a little bit, or putting it in some hot water to loosen it up and everything. Honestly, this one's peeling pretty easy. The hardest part was actually the breaking it apart. So we're gonna go ahead and peel a couple of these. To be honest, we're not gonna use terribly much, but what I'm gonna do I have this small container right here, and I'm going to put any of the extras in here and pop that into the fridge. Alright, and a few minutes later, I've got a whole bunch of perfectly good garlic, freshly peeled, ready to go in our mincer. But we'll hold off until I grab our... Now, for preparing the hummus itself, it's pretty simple. We're going to use this nice fancy Pyrex dish right here. This is generally what I use to deliver the goods. We're going to take one package of our hummus. We're going to go ahead and peel the whole thing off. Now, I like to just go ahead and dump the whole thing in there, but I tend to use a spoon to direct it into the dish. And I like to spread it around just to cover up some surface area. Alright, now we're going to start putting in some of the ingredients. But to do so, we're going to start with our garlic press here. Now, personally, I've never used a garlic press before. But as far as I am aware, you are going to place your garlic inside here. So let's go ahead and start with this goodly sized clove right here. We're going to go ahead and put it inside and close, and we're going to extrude it right in to our dish like so. There we go. A little more. Okay, and we're going to rinse and repeat for a few more. Big boy, and we're going to squeeze, and we'll just slice off the extra with our blade. Fun fact about garlic, if you've ever wondered what makes it particularly spicy when you are eating it, it is actually a chemical compound created from the act of crushing and or biting, if you're directly eating it, called allicin. And allicin provides it that spicy flavor that fresh garlic is known to have. All right. That is probably enough garlic for this particularly small batch. I ended up using about 3 or 4 cloves, probably closer to 5 if I count that big one. Which means we're ready for our next step. Now, as you saw earlier, this is a little bit of a thicker mixture. I make it a little bit garlic. I make it a little bit easier to mix and smooth over by using some olive oil. We don't need a ton, just a little bit to get the party going. And now we're going to mix our first layer together just to get some of that garlic started moving in. Excellent. And this really does change the whole texture of the dip now. It's gone from being rather tough to much easier and smoother. And then, of course, comes my secret ingredient, which is ground cinnamon. Perfect. Now you might be wondering, ground cinnamon, that probably makes it taste really sweet. Not terribly sweet. It is noticeable. I will say it is a noticeable seasoning. If you don't know that it is cinnamon, it does take you off guard a bit on this particular hummus. It is by no means like a dessert hummus, but it does add a bit of a more of an earthy flavor, I guess you could say. And now we are ready for our second package of hummus. I kind of like to treat it as a layer cake of sorts, effectively starting with our standard hummus base and then following up with a little bit extra on top. Now, we shouldn't need to add any more garlic or cinnamon at this moment. So this is pretty much mixing it together to distribute all of those flavors together. Yummy. It doesn't look as yellow in real life. I don't know why it looks so yellow. Alright, I went ahead and I cleaned up the sides a little bit and cleaned up some of my ingredients. Let's go ahead and give this sort of the official taste. Ooh, that is good. I definitely had a couple bits of that fresh garlic in there. That mixture of the garlic flavor with the subtle notes of cinnamon, it really brings it all together. Folks might be asking, wait a second, parsley flakes, what are you going to do with that? Garnish. That is the operative term here. We're going to garnish a little bit. Why? Because apparently people like to see, fancy little green things on their dishes. It's like, oh, why is there a sprig of rosemary on my fish dish or what have you? Well, it's all about garnish. Presentation is key. And so, we're going to present the heck out of this. Perfect. And there we go. Now it looks like some professional dish. We're going to go ahead, put a lid on it, and we're going to transport this guy into our fridge overnight. Now, in the interim, we have had our oven already preheated, which is perfect because now we can start focusing on the pita chips. Now, earlier I mentioned that each of these packs could make about 60 chips. Well, I've got a full stack right here, and I'm going to show you exactly how. Now, you can use a regular knife. I prefer a pizza cutter, and what I like to do is take one or two, lay them down on a proper cutting surface, and then I like to cut them pizza style. Going across, and across, and doing another across, and another across, and a further one across. Now these are pretty soft pitas, which does mean they tend to slide around, so you do have to hold them down, but when you're finished, you generally get about this size of triangular slice. Some come out a little bit bigger, some a little bit smaller, and the thickness does vary, which does lead to some chips being a little bit crispier than others. And what I like to do is just stack these up over on the side until we start running out of room. Of course, you can do one at a time, which is a little bit easier, I feel. But sometimes you like to take care of business 2 at a time and get 12 sliced. And we're just going to repeat this process until we have ourselves, well, I've got a somewhat sizable family, but it is Thanksgiving, so 78, we'll go for 78, we'll see. Now, when you start having a few too many, you can put them in here if you're not ready with your baking sheet yet. So we're going to load up this bag full of all of our triangles. And with that, we finally got a whole bag of chips. May not seem like it, but there are about 78 inside this bag. Now, we'll get to the baking part. Alright, so to save a bit of time and to maximize our space, we're going to be taking advantage of 2 pans simultaneously. And prepping our pans is relatively easy. We're going to use some non-stick spray. And we're going to start layering all of our triangles in an attempt to maximize space. I'm sure there is a definite algorithm to maximize the space usage. However, mine is just called winging it. Again, you might have a bit more forethought and directly transfer to your baking sheet as you are slicing them, if you may have had a little bit more room, or if you weren't filming that too. Okay, now that we have all of our pita on top of our pans, it is time to get them all oiled up. So essentially, seeing as I don't have an air fryer or anything, we are going to add a little bit of olive oil all over our chips. Now, we don't exactly want to drench them, and honestly, I've heard that, basting them a bit using one of those fancy little brushes can certainly help. But we shall make do with what we've got. So this will add a bit of an olive oil flavor to our chips. And you may be thinking, but wait a second, didn't you say that they were pre-oiled? That is true. They are pre-oiled. However, it is a very negligible amount. Now, you may have also noticed I still have a whole lot more to go. Well, just in case of that situation, I did prep a third pan. So we're going to go ahead and prep this pan as well. So again, spritz and lay out our chips. Now that we've conservatively applied our oil, we're going to liberally apply our salt. All right, all that's left is to pop these suckers in that oven. How long are we gonna do it? For about 10 minutes. Ooh, that heat. Popping in 1, 2, 3. As a reminder, this has been set to 400 degrees. 400 for 10 minutes. Oh, sweet Lord. Oh, okay. Well, those look pretty good. Whew. So it seems as though we've got a couple of extra crispy ones. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our pan. We're gonna start delivering some of our chips into this nice reusable container. It is a pretty good size. And again, I have used it every time I do a batch of these. And yeah, these ones turned out fairly well. They are just crispy enough to give you a good bite and everything, but not overly dark, unfortunately, unlike some of the other ones. But it'll all be good in the end, because honestly, I think I might have overestimated how many chips folks will actually consume, so we should be fine. All right, so due to my little bit of a toastier batch, I did actually have to delve into my backups. So whenever you're making something, especially if you're making a bunch for a bunch of people, it's always good to over prepare. So I actually had a few more Euro breads left over that I was able to go into, and I was able to make 2 whole new pans worth of chips. Alright, that means one last thing. One last extra dash of some salt. Because it sometimes has trouble sticking. There we go. Yeah, I'll take that extra dark one out of there. Perfect. And we can seal up. Perfect. All right, now these are set to be delivered in the morrow. So that's going to do it here from the Dmatiqitchen. Thanks for watching, and a like, subscription, thumbs up, anything you can do will greatly support the channel. Check out my live streams. I've got my whole back catalog uploaded on here. We'll be simulcasting on Twitch and YouTube in the future. And please have a happy and safe Thanksgiving weekend with your families, or yourself, or whatever. Bye.